Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about Dear Martin by Nick Stone. So, to start off, before I even just start telling you what this book is about, I just want to tell you that I love this book. I love it, but we'll get into why I love it as we go through. So, Dear Martin is about our main character named Justice. Justice is a young black male, as you can see from this cover. Young black male who goes to a private school but grew up in the hood. During his time, in the beginning of the novel, he sees his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, whatever their status is at the time, he sees his girlfriend drunk, trying to get in a car or get out of the car, and he just goes over to help. He just goes over to help her. Now, her girlfriend is mixed, but apparently she looks on the whiter side of mixed, or on the lighter side of mixed, I guess I should say. And so when he goes to help, next thing he knows, there's a cop pulling him away and out of the car and putting handcuffs on him, thinking that he is trying to carjack Mello or take advantage of Mello or just do something he shouldn't be doing, when really all he's trying to do is help. Now, Justice is a very smart young boy. He goes to this school. He might be going to Yale next year. This is his senior year of high school, and he might be going to Yale. But here he is being treated like a common criminal when he has done nothing wrong. So throughout this story, Justice is basically trying to understand why the world the way it is. He starts a project, and he kind of deems it more like a research project, that he starts saying that he is going to try and be like Martin. He wants to be like Martin Luther King Jr. And so he starts writing letters to Martin, hence the title, Dear Martin, kind of explaining his day and his thoughts and feelings, and trying to figure out what would Martin do in these situations, in these times that we live in. As someone who goes to a predominantly white school, he has more or less gotten used to the racial slurs and stuff around him. And yes, it's kind of bothered him in the past, but it really wasn't until he ended up on the wrong side of justice, and that's when he decides to start speaking up, and he starts to get angry about it. And that's when he starts to bring it up to his friends, his colleagues, or not his colleagues, he's not an adult, his friends and his peers at school on what he thinks is wrong in society. And of course everybody tells him, don't be so sensitive, this is how it is, don't worry bro, we still cool bro, we cool, but don't be so sensitive. And he starts to get angry. Now, I'm going to keep this a non-spoiler review, but I am going to say, during his time, he has one black best friend named Manny. And Manny has grown up with his peers and friends his whole entire life. He's always been the black kid. Manny has always been the black kid amongst the white faces. But Justice got here in high school. So Manny has grown up with these kids his whole entire life, and he's gotten so used to everything that they say that it really doesn't bother him, until Justice starts to point things out, until Justice tells him that what he's doing is not helping the greater good and the greater cause on what it's like to be a black man in America. And it takes a while for Manny to understand, but even when Manny thinks he understands, he still tries to tell Justice not to be so sensitive, trying to find a way to not give anything away. I will say there is a white person advocate, or as it is specified, she's Jewish. Sarah Jane is Justice's debate partner and best friend, and might be more than friends. Sarah Jane has always been on Justice's side and has always fought for him and stuck up for him and all that and that kind of stuff. So that was just one of the ways that there was a view of white person advocacy for Black Lives Matter in this book. If you thought that Dear Martin was just going to end with Justice writing letters to Martin Luther King Jr. and him in handcuffs, You're wrong. I was wrong. You were wrong. I was wrong. So definitely, I'm gonna leave this here because anything else, it just gives it away, and you have to read it. It's not that long. It's not that long. So you just have to read it. Like, it's really good. It's really, really good. So make sure you pick it up. Make sure you pick up a copy, or download it on Kindle, or listen to it on Audible. Bruh, the Audible version was actually really good. Like, it was really good. Or, if you're feeling special, you could win a signed copy here on this channel by entering in the giveaway. But first, before I tell you about this giveaway, let me tell you my thoughts on this book, other than I loved it. Nick Stone did a great job with this book. I love the way that it was written. I love the way that it was written. I love how Justice gets to tell his point of view and all this kind of stuff, but I also love the letters to Martin, because then you really get to hear the inner dialogue and the inner struggle and the inner thoughts that he has within himself and when talking to Martin, and you get to hear truly the thoughts of a black man in America, especially a black man in America who's just now truly come to the conclusion that he is different than everybody else around him. Nick Stone brings up so many topics. She brings up so many viewpoints. She brings up family ties, gang relations, being the sheltered black kid, being the black kid who comes from the hood and then goes to the private school, being the mom who has to tell, or being not just a mom, being the parents who has to tell their black boys that they are different than everyone else and they have to act different, be different, try and be better, even though sometimes being better still is not good enough. Still, sometimes they are threatened by your black maleness. It brings up the inner struggle that a lot of our black boys have when trying to decide what is the best way for them to be safe. Like, is it better for them to go ahead and continue about their life, ignore what's going on, try not to cause waves, try not to bring up too much, try not to be too black? Or should they just forget it all and go off and join their local gang? Should they just forget their hopes and dreams and just try and protect themselves and kind of live on a everyone for themselves mentality? It brings up the idea of interracial relationships and what it's like for a black parent to see their young black kid dating outside of their race, and especially not a person of color. I know a lot of you know that my boyfriend is white, and trust me, my mother and I have had these conversations, especially growing up in Georgia. Also, Nick Stone is from Georgia, and so there are a lot of Atlanta and Decatur references in here, just FYI. But yeah, like, even my mom and I have had these conversations about dating someone outside of your race, just because interracial relationships have not been allowed. They have not been legal. They've not been looked at favorably for a long time. Like if you all know anything about the Loving case, like, that was 50 years ago. That was only 50 years ago. So sometimes having to have those conversations with your kids is sometimes really hard, especially when your kid has found someone who makes them happy. Let me see what else is just amazing in this book. I mean, there's honestly there's so much amazing. Even the little white boys in this book have their role in what they are meant to do and showcase. And I think even a lot of non-people of color can get a lot from this book, and how sometimes your jokes aren't funny. Telling someone not to be so sensitive is not funny. Like, they're sensitive for a reason, and sometimes it's time for people to listen, and a lot of times people are not listening. Justice is special. He's extremely smart. He's going up in the world, and he's gonna move on, and he's not gonna move on. He's always going to remember that night for the rest of his life. He's always gonna remember certain activities, certain ongoing, certain things that happen in his life for the rest of his life. And so there's no reason to tell him not to be so sensitive. He's been through a lot for someone only 17 years old. And he's lucky that he does have a college future ahead of him. He's lucky that he does have a friend who supports him, and a mom who supports him, and other community people who support him because they know him. It's the people that don't know him that are afraid of him. Just like they're afraid of any black man walking down the street. And don't let them be on the wrong side of town, or in the wrong neighborhood, or in the bad neighborhood, or in the white people neighborhood. Don't let them be over there, or else they're automatically a criminal. But like I was saying, I would definitely pick up a copy of Dear Martin. It was fantastic. I know I said it earlier, but like, I listened to the last few chapters on Audible. They did a really good job on Audible. I mean, of course it's Nick's writing, but like, I'm just saying, like, the the characters, they did a really good job on Audible. But yeah, like I said, it's not that long. It won't take you that long to read. But for what you've all been waiting for, this giveaway. I have got a wonderfully signed copy from Nick Stone to give away here on this channel. All I'm going to ask you to do is to subscribe. And then if you would like more entries after you subscribe to this channel, there is a link down below in the description box. That will give you more entries to subscribe. I mean, not more entries, more entries in order to win this book. This is available to ages 13 and up. I believe it's only to the US and Canada. I want to say it's only to the US and Canada. I want to make sure that I put that in there. But the link is also in my Angie Thomas and Nick Stone vlog. I believe one of the ways that you can enter is by liking or commenting or doing something on that video as well. Also, the link will be under that video as well. But you get the chance to win this phenomenal book. Look out for this giveaway on Twitter and Instagram. There will be so many ways to earn extra entries for this that there's no reason to worry. So, make sure you click that link down in the description box. Subscribe to that channel in order to get new updates and in order to be entered for this giveaway. And hit the like button if you like this video. Follow me on all social media so you always keep up with anything that is going on. But until next time, keep turning the pages.